The advice I'd give to anybody who's thinking about it is, go for it, or at least explore what it might mean. If you live with other people, then obviously it's a discussion with whoever else is in your house and home.
We wanted it to work at the beginning. That was quite important. I think we made sure that SN could come and take a look and chat to all of us.
The other thing I think I'd think of is what the shared accommodation is like. What have you got and how do you feel about it? My lodger has their own room, I have my own room. We often meet in the kitchen, but then actually the living room is typically, it just ends up being that actually that's a bit more my space, but that my lodger's got their space in their room. They're doing some study now, so actually often in the evening, if they come back from work, we might meet in the kitchen, and then they're studying. If you rent your whole house out or your whole flat, then that's a tenancy agreement. If somebody has a room in your home and you live there too, then they are a lodger. There is a lodger agreement that you can get. There are free ones on the internet. That's useful for both parties to have, and that helps there to be a good agreement, but actually the sort of legal rights that the lodger have is very different because you're also living in the home. So that's the sort of thing to look into legally. I think there's a few things to take into account. I looked around to see what a room that I was able to offer, what it might be like on the sort of open market, so I got a sense of what the rates might be. And then I thought a bit about the fact that I was willing to sort of be less than that so that it was a bit more affordable. But at the same time, I thought about the fact that it needed to be enough. Individuals who are now having to find their own place have got to realise how much it costs so that actually if they make the next step on, it's not then a terrible shock. And I also, I suppose, took into account, how much was it useful for me to have. You're trying to balance up a number of those factors to make it beneficial for both of us. Another thing that you can choose to do is not to ask for a deposit. These are some of the barriers that people face when they're just out in the general market, is people normally need references, deposits, paying a certain amount of rent up front. Those are all the choices that you can make not to need. You can then pass that on and they can sort of take those references and with them, which is a really helpful thing for people.